Now to a dire warning about climate change. According to a new report, experts say that we have until 2030 to avoid catastrophe. It also says if unprecedented changes are not made and made soon, there will be irreversible damage to the planet. The report focuses on what could happen if global temperatures rise by more than 1.5 degrees Celsius or 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit. It would likely mean more erratic weather, dangerous heat waves, rising sea levels, and dying coral reefs. CNN meteorologist Ivan Cabrera is in the International Weather Center following this story. And Ivan, what more can you tell us about this very dire warning?
Yeah, so 2030, I mean, we're talking about 12 years at this point here, getting very close. And of course, all the while, I mean, we've already seen that climate change take its toll on the planet. So yes, another climate report and more bad news. This one, of course, from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. And I want to drill down the numbers here because they may not sound like a lot, but they are huge.
A new report by the UN carries a stark warning. The world has little more than a decade to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere, or it may be too late to reverse the worst effects of climate change. Here's Mark Phillips.
The future is closer than we think and is not good unless we do something about it, according to the latest United Nations report on climate change. Most climate scientists think we're already beginning to see the extreme consequences of a warming world. Severe storms, sea level rise and flooding in the Philippines and on the U.S. East Coast. Other consequences, crop failure and mass population movement, may also reach crisis levels in the next 20 years or so. All this will happen sooner than previously feared by the year 2030, the report says, if greenhouse gas emissions continue at current rates and global temperatures rise 2.7 degrees above what they were in pre-industrial times. In fact, we're already 2/3 of the way there.
So it's a challenge for human civilization.
Hitting the new lower target would require ending the use of fossil fuels in the next 30 years. The cost, an estimated $54 trillion, would be cheaper, they say, than dealing with the worst effects of climate change.
We've told you the scientific facts, the evidence, the costs. It is up to the governments now to decide what to do with it.
In presenting its report, the UN panel says it's being realistic, that in the United States and elsewhere, John, it says it does not now see the political will to make the hard choices that it says are urgent.
Mark Phillips, thank you, Mark.
Gotta do it myself. Oh my goodness.
I believe I'm stuck using a map right now, but anyways, I'm just gonna have some fun with y'all. So, Antarctica has been melted since the 1800s. First thing I see, new paper indicates Antarctica has been gaining mass since 1800. And that was March 30th, 2017. Then right below it, melting of Earth's ice cover reaches new high worldwide. Retreated glaciers since 18... Wait, mysterious crater in Antarctica has ominous cause? So, yeah, I'm just going to play around with this because I actually just called, here, actually, yeah. Well, this isn't the same thing that I just contacted, but it's pretty close, and actually I'm going to call some of these people, being that I've actually got some names, to start debunking all this good stuff. But, that's what's so crazy about this, you know, so, alright, and, yeah, we're just gonna have some fun here, alright, people? Wow, so, Alright, so I just came across something really cool. So this is what I typed in before. But, what's the first thing that came up? What's the first thing that came up? Who the hell is this guy?
Morning, everybody.
Go back. Go back. 2017. No, get out of this.
And
get out of this. My goofy mug. So you get to see me. But I don't even know how. See, I don't know how to use this freaking Alienware. Oh my god. This is ridiculous. I need to get my computer fixed. Okay. So this is the article that I checked out. So, island use on polar ice world threat. If atomic energy develops enabled scientists to melt the entire ice cap of the Antarctic continent, ocean levels throughout the world would rise up to 100 feet and inundate large sections of the world's coastlines. Noted Antarctica explorer Sir Douglas Mawson said today. Sir Douglas Mawson commented on a statement made by Melbourne last week by Dr. P. Law, officer in charge of the Antarctica Division of the Department of External Affairs, that the development of atomic energy in the Antarctic would be seen either of the future international rivalry or cooperation. Someday atomic energy plants might be used to melt the ice off large sections of the land, so it could be scientifically exploited, doctors said. I don't know what that is. Sir Douglas Mawson said the melting of ice would undoubtedly expose mineral deposits of great material value to the entire world. He added, "We mustn't forget the project would certainly transform the climate of the southern hemisphere. The probable effect on Australia would be intensify desert conditions throughout the whole country. The Antarctic would be a good place to which to live, but a lot of Australia would probably have to be abandoned. The rise of ocean services would mean that there would be no Port Edinburgh or Holland. It would be completely inundated, as would most of London, to name just a few." But, okay. So, how do I even close this? Oh, here we go. And, let's see. Hold on a sec. Oh. Okay, I just had to change my search criteria. But, okay, the possibility of the United States government making official claims of a portion of Antarctica, including the status of President Clinton, Australia, is now being discussed in Washington and the world capitals. Indication that ice pack in Antarctica is received and led to researches by scientists in America and other countries into possible use of atomic heat to accelerate the process. So, I did have it. I just thought it was different. I was looking at it through my phone. So, yeah. Okay? Alright. Look, I didn't even finish going through it. Convention on the Prohibition of Military or any other hostile use of...
So y'all get that. I'm on point about things, right? Take things in consideration when they're spewing a bunch of bourgeois.
$782? That's a great deal. Liberty Mutual.
hope someone watches this and translate this message for me. I'm not going through this, so that right there. That's what it comes down to. Uh, 3 degrees Celsius increase? I think not. Don't buy into all this beeswax because that's what he said it was. Maybe it was a little bit lower. Or no, underwater. There, maybe.
In 1992, they measured this amount of melting in Greenland. 10 years later, this is what happened. And here's the melting from 2005. Tony Blair, scientific advisor, has said that because of what's happening in Greenland right now, the maps of the world will have to be redrawn. If Greenland broke up and melted, or if half of Greenland and half of West Antarctica broke up and melted, this is what would happen to the sea level in Florida. This is what would happen to San Francisco Bay. A lot of people live in these areas. The Netherlands, one of the low countries, absolutely devastating. The area around Beijing that's home to tens of millions of people. Even worse, in the area around Shanghai, there are 40 million people. Worse still, Calcutta and to the east, Bangladesh, the area covered includes 60.
And keep in mind, there is no measurement. They're showing us maps and basically statistics, graphs, but they're not providing any measurements. So basically, they're letting a mind wander. Propaganda.
60 million people. Think of the impact of a couple 100,000 refugees when they're displaced by an environmental event. And then imagine the impact of 100 million or more. Here's Manhattan. This is the World Trade Center memorial site. And after the horrible events of 9/11.
Oh, you're such... Oh, you're so moved. Politicians. Polyfictions.
We said never again. But this is what would happen to Manhattan. They can measure this precisely, just as the scientists could predict precisely how much water would breach the levees in New Orleans. The area where the World Trade Center Memorial is to be located would be underwater.
I was actually trying to find the time and date he was
Save money on your heating bills by
chance. Complete environmental chaos. That's what former Vice President Al Gore predicted back in his movie in 2006. It didn't happen. There he said back in 2009, 75% chance, Arctic ice gone within the next 5 years, 7 years. 8 years later, Arctic's still here. Let's look at fossil fuel stocks like Exxon and Chevron. They're closing the day higher. We got greedy stocks, Tesla and First Solar, closing the day higher as well. Let's bring in the author of The Skeptical Environmentalist. He is Bjorn Lomborg. Why didn't Al Gore's predictions come true? Good to see you, by the way.
Good to be here. So, look, there's so many of these catastrophic predictions in climate conversation, and it's very easy to make them. You get a lot of attention when you make them, and, you know, it'll be you and a few others who pull it out 10 years later and say, what happened to that? I don't know if you remember, Gore also told us we could go fossil fuel. The U.S. could be fossil fuel free in its electricity by now. And, of course, that didn't happen either. There's so much.
So just remember that, people. Remember who the talking heads are. And just remember that this individual right here has utilized more fossil fuels in a single year than a small town in America. Maybe even more than that. Just think about that, especially for being a vice president. And he's talking about this, that, the other. Understand the propaganda. Once there was real journalism. Now there is not. I'm not real journalism. I'm just a pissed off sovereign citizen trying to find out the truth. If you want to call me a journalist, then food, yeah. I'm journaling my stuff, yeah. But, excuse me, I guess I am a journalist. I say it's turkey fucking hoagie. It was delish. But, yeah, take care, be safe, be kind, stay strong, and just remember, no bueno. You guys, no bueno. Talking heads, no bueno. There's a lot of truth out there, and I hope I could at least, show you, some of my efforts from my past.